diversity, it's only right. You see, this world is changing. We can help it change for the better. Celebrate diversity, it's only right. You see, this world is changing. We can help it change for the better.
Good evening, and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am your host, Teresa Freeman. As you know, this month is Black History Month. First of all, I would like to thank God for how He has blessed us down through the years. Not only the black man, but all men. And yes, we are so proud of you, President Barack Obama. Tonight, I would like to talk a little bit about the history of some black music. Songs of freedom. The seemingly innocent spirituals, as the slave songs came to be known, were more than simple hymns of endurance and a belief in a better afterlife, as sung by slaves and their descendants. The spirituals allowed the slaves to communicate secret messages and information to each other about the Underground Railroad. The spirituals and their lyrics were part of a sophisticated system that involved no incriminating evidence for plantation owners or overseers to find. Codes embedded in the spirituals instructed slaves as to when and how they were to escape. They also included warning signals, such as the message of "Wade in the water," informing slaves to travel along the riverbank so the dogs giving chase would be thrown off their scent. Here's a few words to the song, "Wade in the Water." Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's those children all dressed in red? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the children that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Who those children all dressed in blue? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the ones who made it through. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Most slaves could not read or write. In fact, it was against the law to teach slaves to read or write. The spirituals provided a means of verbal coded communication understood only by those in the Underground Railroad. Outsiders generally interpreted the spirituals on a literal level, while slaves knew the meaning of the messages hidden within the words and phrases. Through the words, the refrains, the calls and response, method of singing, and the rhythmic sounds produced by dancing feet, slaves could decipher these hidden meanings. Songs were a part of the slaves' daily lives and were a survival tactic as well as a means of coded communication. Field slaves sang while they worked, so the plantation overseer knew where they were and could make sure they were working. As with the quilt patterns, spirituals were passed on from location to location. The coming of the railroad train opened up a faster means of transportation for fleeing slaves and created a whole new spiritual vocabulary. The word chariot was replaced by the word train and other phrases relevant to rail transportation. One example is the spiritual, "The gospel train is a-comin'." The gospel train quickly became a code name for the Underground Railroad. When slaves heard this song being sung, they knew that either a conductor was among them or that fleeing slaves were close by, along with an opportunity for escape. The spiritual, "This train is bound for glory," was connected to the Underground Railroad too, with glory meaning freedom. Extra caution was required when singing the train songs, however, as they were easier to interpret by outsiders than the traditional spirituals with their biblical references. Harriet Tubman sang "Wade in the Water" as a warning to runaway slaves. To escaping slaves, the song told them to abandon the path and move into the water. By traveling along the water's edge or across a body of water, the slaves would throw chasing dogs and their keepers off scent. Wade in the water. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. This hymn was said to be a favorite of Harriet Tubman, the Moses of her people, an escaped slave herself. Tubman risked her life to conduct hundreds of other slaves to safety and freedom. At one point in time, a $40,000 reward was offered by a group of slave owners for her capture, dead or alive. Tubman loved spirituals and even wrote her own. As part of the Underground Railroad, she was a conductor, nurse, spy, and scout. When guiding slaves, Tubman used spirituals as signals to hiding slaves to indicate whether it was safe to come out of hiding and continue on the journey. She used one song as a warning song to stay hidden, and another to communicate that it was safe to come out of hiding. The chariot referred to swing low, sweet chariot, and other spirituals referred to the carriages and wagons used to transport fleeing slaves in the early 19th century. Later in the century, a faster moving chariot became available in the form of the railroad train. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sally Martin. Born in 1896, Sally Martin was the first singer of gospel songs. In 1927, she joined the Dorsey Trio. In 1932, she was the co-founder and organizer of the National Convention of Gospel Choirs and Choruses, of which she served as vice president for the rest of her life. In 1940, she formed the Sally Martin Singers with Roberta Martin, Willie Webb, and Eugene Smith. The later members of her groups were herself, Roberta Martin, and Doris Akers. She traveled the gospel concert circuit as a soloist with her group. In 1979, she took a leading role in the French production of Gospel Caravan in Paris, France. One of the songs she's best known for is "Just a Closer Walk with Thee." I am weak, but thou art strong. Jesus, Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk, dear Lord, close to Thee. Just a closer walk with Thee. Granted, Jesus, if you please, daily walking close to Thee. Let me walk, dear Lord, close to Thee. Miss Sally Martin and Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Mahalia Jackson, born 1911, died 1972. She was born in Louisiana and she settled in Chicago in 1927. She first sang in church choirs and in a quintet, the Johnson Singers. Then she became associated with Thomas A. Dorsey, who wrote Peace in the Valley for her. She had a career as a soloist. She toured extensively at home and abroad. So her first tour in Europe was in 1952. In her autobiography, she wrote, "A great influence in my life was the sanctified or holiness churches. Everybody in there sang and they clapped and stomped their feet and sang with their whole body. Their music was so strong and expressive. It used to bring tears to my eyes." In 1947, she earned the title of Gospel Queen. She was particularly an American institution. In 1961, she was invited to sing at an inauguration party for President John F. Kennedy. As you can hear, one of the songs that she's best known for in the background, "Go Tell It on the Mountain," Mahalia Jackson. Reverend James Cleveland, 1931 to 1991. James Cleveland was born in Chicago. At the age of 8, he was a soloist in the Thomas A. Dorsey Jr. Gospel Choir. He was called the Crown Prince of Gospel. He was a gospel singer, a pianist, and a composer, a choir master, and a producer. He sang with groups, the Gospelaires, and formed his own groups, the Gospel Chimes, etc. He also sang with leading choirs such as the Voices of Tabernacle in Detroit and the Angelic Choir of New Jersey. During the 1960s, he became a minister in Los Angeles, California. In 1968, he founded the Gospel Music Workshop of America. He was prolific. Here are some of his songs: "The Love of God," "Peace Be Still," "Plenty Good Room," "Get Right Church," "Lord, Do It," "I Walk with God," "Oh, to be Kept by Jesus," "Christ is Coming Back Again," and the song that we hear in the background, "Let Him In Today." That's Reverend James Cleveland. The Five Blind Boys. This group was organized while the members were 8 and 9 years old. Students at the Plentywood School in Mississippi. For the Cotton Blossom Singers, as they were known, this was their only way of earning tuition money. They continued to perform publicly throughout their school years into their first year of college, when a couple of the members felt they could no longer spare the time from their studies to continue the necessary demands and travel for their performances. The remaining members carefully chose the replacements and formed the Jackson Harmoniers, who have been known around the world as the original 5 Blind Boys. This name was given to them by a New York City promoter when they took that city by storm. They were the only nationally known all-blind singing group at that time. Although this group is best known for its close harmony, perhaps their best-known lead singer was the late Archie Brown Lee. There have been other lead singers and a couple of changes in the members, but the overall sound stays the same as they perform on stage, and they are unequaled. The 5 Blind Boys of Mississippi. Andre Crouch, 1984. The Sensational Nightingales, 1978.
Jesus is coming for his church that's covered by his precious blood. Yes, Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Hallelujah for you and for me. Yes, King Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming for his church that's covered by his precious blood. Yes, Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Hallelujah for you and for me.
Shirley Caesar, 1977. The Consolers, year unknown.
Yeah.
Albertina Walker, 1988.
I've been blessed in many ways. I've had some very special days, but of all I've had and all I've done, the best is yet to come.
Dorothy Grant, 1978.
Everything is passing you by. You do a lot of needless worrying. Others even try to take their lives. Everything you try to do seems to turn out wrong. And when you get in a hurry, others take too long. If you want relief from worry and strife, you be happier with pride.
The Staple Singers, 1978.
Can't you feel it in your bones, dog? A change is coming on from every walk of life. People are seeing the light. Can't you feel it in your heart tonight? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out, touch your hand, dog. Make a friend if you can.
I hope you enjoyed our show tonight as we learned a little more about the history of black spirituals, Negro spirituals, and we went a little bit down memory lane and listened to some of the old gospel albums. I pulled out some of my old gospel albums and blew the dust off of them, and hope you enjoyed listening to a little bit of them. Thank you for watching the show. Have a great night.